Good day, Convent, family, and friends. In recognition of our 75th church anniversary, we present to you a series entitled Interview with the Founders, where we present the insights of some of our founding members of this great church, Convent Avenue Baptist Church. Today, we have before you Mrs. Elizabeth Richards, who will share with you her insights and perspectives regarding Convent Avenue Baptist Church. Good day, Mrs. Richards. Tell us your experiences, please.
Well, my experience at Convent when I first came to New York, they had split it from Walker Hall. I didn't know anything about that. I only know about Carnegie Senior. We had morning service, Sunday school, and morning service at Carnegie Senior Ballroom, I should say. And in the morning, when we go in, we would smell all this after that night before funding was, party. And we had Sunday school then. Then the morning service, we had morning service at in Carnegie Senior.
And that's Congress Casino?
There's Carnegie Senior Ballroom.
Okay.
That's what's the name of it. In the evening service with the BYPU, and the night service was across the street, and I forget the name of the little church. It's still there, but I don't know if it's the same people or not. I think they changed hands. And for when what was that? That was in February. When we marched up the hill.
Okay. What year was that, by the way?
In 1942.
1942.
You have to count my age and I can tell you. and
Well, do you mind sharing with us? How old were you?
I am 88 now.
Excellent.
The Lord spared my life the 29th of April. In 89, I would be 20, whatever.
Okay. Next year is 2018.
In 2018, I'll be 89.
Excellent. Now, how old were you when you all made that glorious walk up the hill?
I was 12, going on 13.
Excellent. Tell us about that day.
Well, that day, it was a little snowy, flurries. We marched with the horses, which was exciting. We marched from Carnegie Senior, 132nd Street, near 7th Avenue. Then we lined up there. We went to 135th Street and 7th Avenue, crossed there to St. Nicholas Avenue. With St. Nicholas Avenue, 135th Street, we marched up to 141st. We came to 141st, marched up to Hampton Terrace. Over to Convent. We came through, remember, marching, passing the nursing home.
The very building that we're in right now.
Yes,
So it was a nursing home then?
This nursing.
Okay.
We marched on over we made the turn here at Convent. And when Reverend Wilson got to the church, he put his foot on there. I could see that so well. I don't know why that.
Reverend Saunders. Excellent.
I said, I met Reverend Saunders. How could I ever, Lord? When Reverend Saunders got to the corner, he put his foot on the step and he whirled his hand. He said, "Wee!" And he whirled the cane.
Excellent.
Yeah. And we marched on in the church. During that time, Mr. Odom was the minister of music. We marched in how many times? That song.
That was the song.
How many times we sung how many times, so many times. So
That's a song you'll never forget.
I never forget how many times. And that day we fellowship here. When we came, the church was full. Then.
On the day that you all walked in,
Yes,
the church
the
was
day
already
we
full.
walked in, this church was packed. Was
Excellent.
full.
That's marvelous.
And we had, after this service, Billy Clark, which is one of the founders, he was in this service then. His, what you call him, he was in the army. They was his, what would you call them? His troops, or what?
I guess his troops. Or
Whatever, they were here, and he was, all the troops was here, and they were singing. Billy Clark is Doris Clark's brother. Yeah. And I don't know if you remember.
Also a founder, Doris Clark.
He's the Clark, this founder. And we fellowship all that day. Our parents used to cook. My mother was noted for her sweet potato pies, and she would make them in layers. And they would slice down, still is sliced. And Mrs. Waters was noted for her coconut layer cake. We had some good times here.
Excellent.
We would come up on Saturdays and shell the peas and peel the potatoes, while the other children was out playing or something. This is why we so fussy about our church, because they don't know what we went through. We were spending our pleasure was here. We had to be here and peel the potatoes and whatever.
In preparation for Sunday's dinner.
Preparation for Sunday. That day we walked up here, and it seemed like every Founders Day is little flurries. It seemed like a little flurry. We had those little thick stockings on, brown. Yeah, but we had good times. We had good times here. We went without. The times was bad, it wasn't like it is now. We had good times.
Excellent. What was your favorite aspect of Reverend Saunders' style as a preacher?
What can I say? He was just beautiful. He was a doll. He was Miss Saunders, and they didn't take any nonsense. And we know that we had, was respect. He was, what could I say? He was
Let's talk about Reverend Wilson.
He was very strict. He would, everybody except now, everyone was the way he ran the church. And Reverend Saunders, when he came up here, he came in the church. He said, "Convent will not be a begging church. Convent will not be a begging church. We didn't sell anything here. We wouldn't. There was no tickets to be sold, and we paid for this church with all this everything. And the time was bad. It was 3 years, and I forget exactly how many months.
A few months.
Yes, we paid for it.
Yes. In 3 years' time.
Yes, and now we had very strict. Everything was very strict. Our deacons was very strict, and it just was a church, and everybody was respect at Convent. When they said Convent, everybody respected Convent. We came to church like we were coming to church. We didn't come to church in shorts, dungarees, and although they say times have changed, but I'm still my old-fashioned ways.
We would definitely respect that.
Yes, we came to church, and it was respect. If the elder person spoke to us, we did something, they spoke to us, we better obey it, or they grab us. And our parents would do it too. We didn't have any, it was nothing like that was Reverend Wilson. Reverend Wilson would stop right in the midst of the service if something was going wrong. And he'll say, wait a minute here. Did you know Reverend Wilson? You didn't?
Yes, I remember Reverend Wilson as a small child. Yes, I do.
Yes, he'll say, wait a minute, not in Convent. He would say, not in Convent. Reverend Grant was a little more leaner, but still, it was no begging. We had no begging in the church. With Reverend Grant, if we would give him something, he would say, the church needed it. He would give it back. It was never, we had. And we had all the ward members. Our pastor, he can really.
He's an excellent preacher.
He's an excellent preacher.
Yes. Tell us about your Sunday school experiences here at the church.
My Sunday school experience, I enjoy it. I enjoy our Sunday school experience.
Excellent.
I was in the Miss McLean when she came.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of y'all was here with Miss McLean. She was.
Doesn't sound familiar to me.
She hadn't been up the hill long. We hadn't been here long.
Okay.
I was in the choir. Miss Flushman.
I remember her and that family. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the choir.
Well, what were some of the ministries that you've been involved in at Convent throughout the years?
Well, I was in the choir. I was in the we had BYPU,
And what's that?
Baptist training. Which is, Lord, I forgot what it's
Baptist Youth.
Baptist youth training. I was that, and then also I'm the one that founded the Greater Harlem Nursing Home. I was the president of the nurses unit, and I always liked senior dealing with the nursing home. So when Greater Harlem Nursing Home opened up, I went over and I spoke to this young lady, Becky Adams. She was in charge. And I told them that I was, where I was from, Convent, and I was interested in doing some volunteer service over with my, with the nurses. And she was so happy. She said, because we went to Abyssinia, the other churches, they told them they didn't have the time. I said, no, we have the time. We went over there, I came back, I brought it to the nurses. And they all was happy about it. We would go over there and dress the people to come down to the service. Mm-hmm.
Was this once a month on a Sunday or every
Sunday?
Excellent.
This was, we had this minister there, I call him Mister, because he had the people going around with a hat collecting money from the seniors. So we said no. So I came back to Convent. He was preaching, he was doing the service, and they wasn't satisfied with him. So I came back to Convent and I spoke to Peggy Allen, and I told her what we were doing, and I would like them to come down and we have a service. And she said, she called me Marshall, we'll do whatever we can. So we came down, they came down, we had a service, and what was his name? We came, he did the preaching. He's dead now. Well, anyway, he came.
One of our ministers from our staff.
Yeah, he was one. He came down. He did this preaching. We had different ones, and the Deacon Chew, and also Harold. I don't know if you remember Harold, the one that used to sing so in the gospel.
I don't think so. No.
He came down one time, and the Newtons.
So how many years did you engage in this particular ministry?
Well, it's still going on.
Oh, excellent.
It's
It's
still-
something you started and is now continuing on to this
I
day.
started, and
It's
it's
wonderful.
and it's continuing.
What other ministries? I understand you used to cook at one time. Were you
Yes,
involved in cooking?
I didn't let me finish.
Oh,
I cooked.
absolutely.
During that time, the nursing home, you could take food, and I said, these people here need a good home cooked meal. So I cooked my daddy came up, and I cooked a Thanksgiving dinner for them.
Wonderful.
I did it all myself. Louise Davis used to do the pies, and I did all the cooking. So we've had good times there. So I did that, and then it got to the place, like Convent always did, they take over. So Reverend Wilson said to me, let them have it. so I let them have it. Then I belonged to the senior board, usher board. Then I left the senior usher board because there was a founder that found the missionary usher board, Miss McFarland. So I joined the missionary board.
So we were talking about the various ministries that you've been involved with during your 75 years here with Convent. You talked about the nurses unit and the cooking, and what other ministries were you active in?
The Sick and Shed In, the Crusaders, the missionary usher board, the senior usher board, and there was something else I was in.
What are you currently active in?
The
Yeah, we mentioned BY.
Yeah,
What are your current ministries as of today? What are you active in?
Sick and Shed In, and the if they need me, I'm not ushering, but I'm a retired usher, but I donate, whatever, with the missionary.
You're on the honorary board of ushers.
I'm in the honor, yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us today while we have you?
Oh, I wish we could have those good old days back again.
What do you see as far as our future as a convent moving forward into the next 75 years, if you will?
Do I have to answer that? If it's not a change,
What type of changes would you like to see?
a lot. It's go back to a little more stricter, no begging, and what else? You hate to see when people say they leaving. You don't want to hear that. We used to have breakfast across the street.
I remember that.
We used to have the dinners downstairs. I used to cook for the family day. I said, we need to go back to what we used to. Because my mother, Doris's mother, different, ones, they would be, with the cooking, bring their old times back. And we would have a lot of fun. On Founders Day, I would do all the cooking myself. I don't know if you remember, do you remember taking I'm calling you Reverend.
First a deacon.
Yeah,
You
that,
made him a
promote
deacon.
each other. I used to,
No, his wife's a deacon.
I used to do that old-fashioned cornbread stuffing, make their oven stuffers, baked ham.
Oh, my mouth is watering right now.
I would have. They actually, Reverend Morgan, he can tell you, you know, the baked ham, macaroni, string beans, greens. I would do all this myself. And all the founders.
Every Founders Day.
Every Founders Day. Peach brandy cake. And when I said peach brandy, it's not something that you would, you just get, it's just like you flavor with
The flavor.
Yeah.
Not the actual.
Yeah. And the cheesecake, cherry cheesecake. I would make cornbread, and like your parents did, olden days, like our parents did.
Old school.
That's what I have. And what else? That's what.
What else would you like to add in closing, Mrs. Richards?
Hope I live to see another 75.
Amen. I thank you. On behalf of Convent Avenue Baptist Church, we thank you. And God bless you.
Yes. And I hope and pray that our church will come back to, if not all way, some way, like we used to.
It's a wonderful thought.
Yeah.